Okay, hey again, one more thing. This is Derek at Crossroads Church in Aspen, and I want to share one other thing about worship philosophy, or specifically vocal philosophy. I've got my microphone here, and this is what we've tried to do with our teams. If we have 5 people singing on Sunday, if they're all singing the same thing, that's just not very interesting. But what we can do is begin to look at some values of those vocals. Let's say, for example, you've got a lead vocal. That lead vocal, that value or that presence, let's say it's at about 90%. It's going to be right up here. I only say it wouldn't be 100% because you're not singing as loud as you can, but it's about 90%. It's right here on the microphone. It's nice and full. If someone is singing a harmony, then that person is going to be singing a third or a fifth, not right here and not at the same value, unless it's some specific duet where the things are moving exactly the same, in harmony. But that harmony might be here, just to really support. If you listen to great recordings, you will hear those harmony values, and you won't hear them. They're just in the right place in the mix. And you can help your sound engineer out a lot by just singing a harmony value here. Just back a little bit, okay? You can certainly do this with volume, but there's still going to be a presence to the mic that's a little bit different. Different things. I'm just kind of giving you this. There's exceptions to every rule, but that harmony is generally going to be back here a little bit, okay? If someone is singing or doubling a harmony, because if you have 4 or 5 vocals, right? You're not creating probably some esoteric harmonies and extended chords, but you're singing thirds and fifths. And so let's say the first person is singing, the lead is singing the melody, the second vocal is singing a fifth, and the third one is singing a third. They're right here, they're blending well. Well, then that fourth and fifth person, they might actually be doubling the melody, but they don't want to double the melody here. If you do, again, it's going to sound strange. They begin to conflict. But if you take that melody and sing the same thing that the lead melody is singing, or the lead vocal, but you put it here, it begins to contribute and add this sort of support that acts kind of like if you play a pad on a keyboard and you hear these multiple layers. It's different textures that are being mixed within the keyboard at different volumes. You might have a piano, and you might have a B3 organ, and you might have some sort of string section or an oscillator or on your synth. But these layers, I think it can be great to think of it in that way when we're presenting vocal. If we all sing here, it may sound like mud. But if we begin to adjust those values a little bit, it can really improve the vocal quality of 3 or 4 or 5 people singing and presenting a song. Also, I would say as a general rule, unison on the verses, harmony on the choruses. In fact, it may be you want one person on the first verse. And certainly, again, there are exceptions to every rule. You may bring in a harmony at the end of the verse, or at the end of the second verse, or maybe during the whole second verse, but just a little bit. Maybe a third that's way in the back. And then when that chorus hits, everybody's in at their respective values. And I look at it like an airplane on a runway. That verse is the airplane taxiing and moving into position and lining up for the runway. And that chorus hits, or the pre-chorus, and that thing is going down the runway. And when the chorus hits, the plane leaves the runway, soars over the chorus, and then comes back and lands for the second verse. And that's where the music ducks a little bit, and we're into the second verse, maybe with a little bit of a more firm or deep groove on the drums. But anyway, those values, that vocal philosophy is kind of what we use to blend vocals. Now, I will say this. Not everyone hears harmony naturally. You want to be able to hear harmony, and you want to encourage that. If any of us have trouble with harmony, we should begin to work on that so that we can hear that. And you can do that by practicing. I actually have a little exercise that I do on the piano, going from the root to the third, back to the root to the fifth. and having our vocal slide up to the third and then slide down to the root and then slide up to the fifth. And I know I didn't invent that, I'm sure, but it can be helpful. So let me know if you want some tools to help you begin to hear harmony, because it is possible. We can train our ears. But I think that's kind of the general rule, and that presence and volume, if you will, or distance, that's going to improve a group singing together in an instant. Okay? What else? What else is important for the vocal? Oh, so let's say one person's singing a root, the melody, and another person is singing a third, and another person is singing a fifth. So then what do the fourth and fifth person do? Well, they can do a number of things. They could double the melody, and I think I mentioned that. If they're going to double the melody, they're going to be back here a little bit and give support. Same thing if they're going to double the harmony. You don't want two people nailing the third or the fifth. If they're going to double the third, preferably double the fifth, but sometimes we double the third. It's okay. It works. It works. If you double that third well and that fifth well by bringing that value back a little bit and supporting that first harmony value that's already being sung, giving that a little support. It's just amazing how this subtle little thing gives strength to our vocals. So melody here, lead vocal here, person singing a harmony here, a third or a fifth, and then a person doubling a third or a fifth, or the melody might be here. Work with that, play with that one night or morning at practice, and see how it helps. I think you'll get the idea when you see this begin to work. Okay, thanks you guys. Bye.